We did it. Hi, everybody. Siobhan Sarna here with SIBO SOS. Dr. Anna Cabeca is with me this way, and she is a treasure. Dr. Cabeca, I'm going to talk about you like you're not here for just a second. She's very humble, you guys. This is a woman who's devoted her life to health of all kind, in particularly women's health. She is an OBGYN. She has been doing this for decades. She's had her own challenges. And just when you think, well, it's strictly GI, gut issues, there's no connection to anything else, which I know intuitively, we all know everything's connected. But one of the most fascinating conversations I've had with Dr. Cabeca is about the hormone connection to the gut, that thyroid connection, cortisol, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to get really into it with her. She's got a brand new book I'm super excited about. I was one of the first people to see its cover last August in California. I was very, very honored. And it's a thrill to have you here, Dr. Cabeca. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited to talk about it. It's such an important area. And then just having open, honest conversation with friends. I love it.
And one thing about that, I'm so glad you just mentioned that. You know, I went to my nail tech for 2 years. That's right, 2 years before we started talking about gut health. And it turns out she has SIBO, I had SIBO. And when I looked at her, I'm like, we could have been talking about this for 2 years every other week. I'm so sorry I didn't bring it up. What should we say to people who are feeling like it's private? I'm a little ashamed about it. I don't need to really talk about it. I think we should all be talking about it.
Yeah, we should definitely be talking about it because it's one of those things that we have to put a name to it. We have to call it out in order to conquer it. And there's no shame because so many of us are dealing with it. So many people have had these issues. And the more we speak about it, the more we realize, number one, we're not alone. So there's healing in community. And also, there's always someone who asks a question or knows the answer to it that you needed to hear.
So true. I say that all the time in the Q&As. I try to get to everybody's questions, but there's still value in learning from other people's questions because they're maybe a little bit further on the road than you are, or they're on a branch of the road that you might unfortunately or fortunately be on later. So what is that gut connection from hormones to IBS, SIBO, leaky gut? What do we need to know as owners of the body?
Well, I think we really need to understand too that just hormones are metabolized in the gut, right? So the bacteria, a healthy microbiome is crucial to healthy hormone detoxification and metabolism. And this is what we don't think about. But, you know, what are precursors to like breast cancer, for instance? You know, a recurrent long-term antibiotic use is one of them, whether it was for acne or, you know, which is the common one I often hear. Also birth control pills, all affect the microbiome. And if we're experiencing constipation, re-entrance of circulating of estrogens into our bodies, and that affects us adversely. So I think those are really big things to understand about the gut. But we also need to understand that a healthy gut is a healthy vagina. And as a gynecologist, it is really important to talk about sexual health because women specifically suffer through. Now, I have clients in their 30s all the way through their 70s and 80s that we talk about this issue with. But clients who have been on a progestin IUD, clients who have been on birth control pills can struggle with vaginal dryness, can struggle with lack of orgasm and decreased libido and those issues. So, but especially as we're getting older, the number one reason that caregivers put their loved one into a care facility is because of incontinence issues. So keeping the healthy vaginal microbiome is as important, if not more, again, I'm a gynecologist, than a healthy gut microbiome, but it works together. And we can't forget about it because we can restore it, we can rejuvenate it, and improve the health. So many women, again, suffer with incontinence, rectal fissures, hemorrhoids, constipation, prolapse, pressure, and it's not a way to live.
It's not.
And we don't have to.
And we don't have to. So give us some tips. Give us some tips about how we can heal that microbiome.
So definitely in my book, The Hormone Fix, I talk about my keto green way. Yes, I'm excited. I'm going to flash it like a flasher.
Yeah, do it. You guys, you're going to see her on all kinds of big national television shows. That's her brand new book. It's available at the end of February 2019. Go buy it. If you want to pre-order it, we've got some extra goodies for you that Dr. Cabeca has been really generous. She loaded up these bonuses to give everyone an incentive to order it early. So we'll give you some information about that. Look for it in the links below. We'll also talk about it. But yes, so let's dive into the book. Let's get into that chapter about the vaginal microbiome.
Yeah, so the vaginal bacteria, vaginal microbiome is really crucial for health as we're getting older. And so many times it's a matter of these little symptoms that you maybe even ignore because number one, they're inconvenient. And number two, we don't have time to deal with them. Number three, we don't think that they're going to be a problem, but they are. So for example, vaginal dryness, irritation after intercourse, burning or discharge or odor after intercourse, urinary tract infections, and then pelvic pressure or that accidental leak when we cough or sneeze. So we need to say, okay, well, we've got to restore the health of the vagina, the microbiome for sure, but also the mucosa and the muscular walls of the vagina. All of that can be restored. And it starts with the Keto Green way, right? Nutrition and lifestyle strategies to improve microbial diversity. That happens with our healthy gut, and that leaches over to a healthy vagina. And so that's it. Essential fatty acids, healthy fats, lots of good nourishing greens, and in that combination, that's key. Pelvic floor exercises are another way. And then, I created, because there were no natural solutions for women, I created Julva, which is a natural anti-aging formula from, for the vulva. So apply it from clitoris to anus. Yep, all those female bits, those lady nether regions that we just aren't talking about on Facebook, but yes, we are. And so, to keep the tissue healthy, and we see a tremendous amount of restoration there, because that keeping healthy tissue is essential for a healthy vagina. That's foundational. And so giving your body the nutrients it needs internally and externally, coming from both angles, is the way to get optimal results.
When it comes to this keto green approach, I was reading in your book about how veggies are important. And I love that you were talking about it. And you were saying, and, if you have SIBO and IBS, sometimes the vegetable fiber is really tough on us, but it's so important. And I think it's important that we don't leave that out. So is the keto greens, we are doing greens in your approach, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had clients with SIBO that may have some difficulty, and very rarely, most clients will do well, even if they've had SIBO, because it's, a lot of times we know to cook the greens, to blanch them, to help with that. If they're slow cooking or using an Instapot, that's another great way to help with digesting. And we're big on the apple cider vinegar, the digestive enzymes, the bitters, bitter melon, ginger, things like that to help with digestion, which is also very important. But so we're adding nutrients and healthy fats and proteins. I'm really focusing on digestion. And also in my Keto Green way, there's intermittent fasting and no snacking. So that is reparative for the GI tract. That is reparative for the GI tract. So when I have clients that have SIBO despite this, and again, I've had a couple, one of the things we do is we'll go on a shake day or a bone, shake with bone broth day, and just, okay, let's make it easy. Let's really work on digesting. Let's add some ginger and keep this clean. Let's start with this, and then bone broth in between, or a mineral broth for our vegetarians. And we can try to do that 2, 3, even, 3 days in a row. Let me tell you, Siobhan, I mean, that seems drastic, but it's not, because it's a quick way to heal. So I'd love to know what your experience is with that, with your SIBO clients and some fasting or.
Well, guys, feel free to type in any questions that you have for Dr. Cabeca. And I can see we've got a really cool group right here. And by the way, Angela Pfeiffer, who is a SIBO nutritionist, she actually has a SIBO friendly bone broth that she shares with her clients. Like we can all buy it from her website, which is cool because not all bone broth is good for SIBO patients, but Dr. or nutritionist Angela Pfeiffer fixed that. So that would be perfect. And, you know, I'm just a fellow patient and a patient advocate and patient educator, fellow patient. But one of my experiences and what we're learning about in all these master classes that we're doing at SIBO SOS is certainly about the migrating motor complex, also known as MMC, and how it needs 4 or 5 hours of you, one, not consuming calories in order for it to get that sweeping motion. So you the small intestine. So intermittent fasting works really well to get that migrating motor complex its break. So that's perfect, Dr. Cabeca. It's a perfect approach.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what we find, that just getting over the hump, and sometimes it's improving the digestive enzymes, improving so that we're breaking that down, and going slow, just slow, like don't, over zealously add in all your greens and crucifers because you're going to have trouble. So just start slow and build up because that's so essential.
And a lot of times we think as a SIBO patient, I think I'm going to do something good for myself. I'll eat better. I'll eat some broccoli. I'll eat some cauliflower. And then I'll eat like too much of it. Like maybe one stalk is fine, but not like a whole bowl of it because then I'm going to be suffering. And then also, I used to like throw in the apple and stuff. And because of the FODMAP, for me personally, it really doesn't work. But so that's why we really need to educate ourselves. It's not just about what you see in like, random old school health knowledge, because an apple a day may or may not keep the doctor away. So it's great that you're refining our education. Can we talk about the book for just a second in case, I don't want to run out of time. I want to make sure we really cover the book because you and I have been talking about this book since I met you in August in California. And I know, you put your heart and soul and your lifetime of work into this book. Why don't you show me again? It's so pretty.
Oh, thank you. And you'll love it too, because like if we look at the concepts of the colors, like this is a holistic book. So it's the hormone fix, burn fat naturally, boost energy, sleep better, and stop hot flashes the keto green way. And so the colors on top, those actually represent ketosis, and the colors on bottom actually represent pretty much the alkaline pH scale. But it's also our chakras and, just beautiful, energetic representation of wholeness. And that, there are times when we're in the circle of life, right? So there are times when we are in an acidic state, in a stress state, and there are times when we are in a nourished, fulfilled, resting state, and we need both, and both are important for life. And so great gratitude for all these stages of our lives. And because of my personal journey, in my personal journey, I went through, and I talk about this in my book. And I went through menopause at 38. I was I've been over 240 pounds, struggled with weight my entire life. That was a key concept, but losing my mind, struggling with my relationships, depression, fatigue, pain, all of that was a reality to me at that time in my life. Diagnosed with permanent irreversible infertility in early menopause, and I was 38. And so one of the things I learned is that and from talking with so many women is, number one, is that most women are confused about their bodies, what's happening with them, and their hormones. So I dispel that confusion in the book in a simple way. And the second thing that I emphasize in my book is that it takes more than hormones to fix our hormones. And it's really in each individual's control. It's 25% diet and 75% other things, lifestyle, etc. And I talk about some things that we can be disrupting our physiology that we may not have thought of. So there are gems for everyone in here, whether we're in our 30s and having PMS or want to make sure we stay on the cutting edge of health. This book is for you. And whether you're way past menopause, this book is for you, because the strategies and pearls and gems that I put in here, you won't find anywhere else. And again, I wish I didn't have to learn them the way I did, but my personal journey is part of that. The other thing is I put in a 10-day quick start keto green detox into the book and a detox diet. So it's simple, it's easy, it's strategies and kind of planning, creating your day and your way for success. And then an additional 21 days of menus. And Siobhan, in the book too, as you know, I put in inventories questionnaires twice because I want you to take them at the beginning. And then I want you to take them in, 3 to 4 weeks after following the plan. And note the difference. And how we feel means a lot. The symptoms that we're experiencing are signs of underlying issues. So as I went through my own journey and struggles, I kept wanting to think, what's the underlying issue that's happening here? And if I can change that, all these other things get better, right? So
Yes.
all this constellation of symptoms get better. In my 10-day Breeze Through Menopause Masterclass that people can do now, in the Breeze Through Menopause Masterclass, we say, get the book. This is a great way to accompany the book and keep yourself accountable. There's quick little videos with me, just little extra pearl bombs. But with that, what we've seen is 97% improvement. 97% of people improve in just 10 days. 90% of people improve in just 10 days. And that's huge. And that's eye-opening with a near 50% reduction in symptom scores. My hormone toxicity symptom score, 50% in 10 days. That's huge. That's objective data. We have numbers on over 230 participants from round 1 of my Breeze Through Menopause Masterclass. And I think that's just powerful stuff. And building community like you do here in your SIBO group, that's powerful healing too. So so it's exciting. And then of course we have Vaginal Health and my stress chapters, which are very personal, but wow, the revelations and the information there can really help people.
Especially if you haven't been educating yourself about vaginal health. I think it's like way past time for all of us, but long gone are the days of Cosmo magazine being the source of, if you haven't been studying about this type of microbiome, then please do. Also in the book, I was reading about the tests that Dr. Cabeca recommends, and then the ones that she says about these are, if you have all these are something for you to look at. So it's a guide. It's a roadmap. I love roadmaps here at SIBO SOS. I love that, that help of a person who's an expert, OBGYN, hello, and who has gone before, not just as an objective observer, but as someone who's had issues herself. So please grab the book. It's called The Hormone Fix. You're going to be seeing it on tons and tons of national media because fortunately the media is now picking up, some of them, that this is really important information and we need to be talking about it. So it's great that there were the vagina monologues, but that was a while ago. We are now super current and talking about cutting edge and ancient wisdom combined, along with Dr. Cabeca's Keto Green approach, along with a 10-day detox. And, this is so important because you can go into the grocery store and get this thing that says detox and cleanse and, poop your brains out. That's not what this is. This is a very holistic approach to total well-being, which I'm very excited about. So what else do you want to know, everybody? Let's see. People are talking about, they're doing some scoops of pure pea and like a physician's elemental diet as part of their intermittent fasting. And then, did I lose you? I hope I didn't lose her. And you guys agree. Thank you. Modified elemental formula. Okay. I hope we didn't lose Dr. Cabeca's camera. Well, if we did, no worries. We got a lot from this conversation. And if you will, go to the links I'm going to put in the next few minutes, and you'll be able to pre-order. And because you're going through those links, you're going to be able to get a lot of bonuses. And she's amazing, isn't she? I don't know if she can hear me, but I can't see her, but she is really, really amazing. And, you know, I'm very careful about the people that I bring into this group. It's only people that I know and trust and feel like they have an important message. And she is definitely one of those people. She's one of the most well-respected and admired people in this health community of, you know, all this online information that we're getting. And there's a lot of terrible information out there. And then there's the really good stuff, which I work really hard to curate for you guys. So thanks for being here. I love you. We're going to put this in an email as well. I hope we will. I'm going to think about how we're going to do that. Yeah. Well, I think we did lose her. She's actually in New York and there's a snowstorm. So who knows what happened. We'll work on getting this information out to you guys so you can review it for yourself. Take care and I'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to join me on March 4th with Dr. Mark Pimentel, when we're going to be talking about post-infectious IBS, breakthrough information. He's going to be coming to us live from Cedars-Sinai, and like from the lab, walking into his office and answering your questions. So it's going to be really great. And you can find out more about that in the links in our Facebook group. That is a Q&A. So it's a masterclass in Q&A. Talk soon. Love you. Bye. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. Okay.